Welcome to Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I'll be covering every studio song the band has recorded and every bonus track that I can find. Each week we'll go over a new song from the beginning to where they are currently, and as they keep adding albums, I'll keep adding shows. Let the deep dive party begin.
In the magic garden, some were singing, some were dancing.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I am your host, Scott Haskin. Got another song for you as we journey through the album they called Equator. Love that graphic. The more I think about it, the album artwork, I love geometric designs. I love those, connecting the dots and making shapes at the end of them where they all connect, that sort of thing. It's a really cool cover. The more I think about it, the more I actually like it. It's not a simple design at all, but it's a very cool one. I love the red on black coloring. It's really good. But we're not here to talk about the album cover. We already did that. We're here to talk about the next song on our list. This one is called Skools Burnin, Skools, like old school burnin'. And let's just dig right on into the song today. I'm just excited to get started. Here it is, Skools Burnin' from the Equator album by Uriah Heep. I absolutely love how guitar-oriented this band has become. In those early days, Mick being the generous guy that he is, would a lot of times just, lay back, let the keyboard take the lead. He would fill in the rhythm instead. And now he's able to really just kind of come out and show what he can do. And the guy is just insanely talented as both a writer and a performer. And it's really just wonderful to hear him be featured a little more nowadays in the band. But I think the sound is really good here. It's a good balance. I like the choppy kicks and cymbals. It's always an interesting way to start out a song or have a middle part. But it's got a good groove. It feels good. I like it. Yeah, I like it. It definitely has an 80s feel to it. Just the structure of the song, the way the backing vocals are done, which is always somewhat unique to Uriah Heep, but this is a very straightforward, like 80s, mid-80s feeling song. Very common for a rock band to write something like this in that time. But I should mention, and I don't talk about the other things I do a whole lot on this show because I really want the focus to be, it's not about me, this show. It's about Uriah Heep's music. But I will say, just because this is kind of a point of interest, not too long ago, of course, by the time this airs, I think it was back in June or July, probably July, I interviewed on my other show, the Haskincast podcast, I interviewed a gentleman by the name of Reggie Vincent, who actually wrote the song Schools Out for Alice Cooper. He also wrote Under My Wheels, both just amazing songs. I played with John Lennon. He played with, there's just an infinite amount of things that guy has experienced and been a part of in his life. And he's really played a role in shaping the world of music. But anyway, just because this song is called Skools Burnin', it has kind of that same, we're done with this feel to it. And is another great rock and roll song. Just thought I'd mention that in case you guys wanted to check that out. If you go to my website, www.scotthaskin.com, instead of clicking the Uriah Heep podcast link, you can click the Haskincast podcast. I can't even say the name of my own show. My God. Haskincast podcast. You can see all the episodes there. I've ranked them by year at this point just to make it a little more simple on the website. And I will probably break that out a little bit differently at some point when I have time. But for now, just go to 2021 and scroll down to Reggie Vincent, and that will take you right to that episode. There's a link there. Amazing guy. I mean, he's had such an amazing career. He was great to talk to. So if you're interested in another school-related famous rock song, go check out my interview with Reggie Vincent. Now back to the song. Wow, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but in the background there, at the end of each phrase, Mick was playing another heavily vibrated note there. Sounded really good. It was pretty buried in the background. In this song too, I can hear the keyboard a little bit. It's not really out in front pushing in my face at this point. There may be a time, because it seems like a lot of times the keyboards in Uriah Heep's music in this era of time will do that. And then when they're doing the repeated chorus at the end, like all of a sudden the synth will come in and just be a little bit overpowering, a little too loud. So I don't know if that happens, but we'll find out. The mystery will be solved before this episode is over. You gotta love Peter Goalby. I mean, how do you not? The guy is just singing with such power and such passion. It's on the border of yelling, but it's not yelling at all. It's just singing with a lot of passion. He's really pushing that energy through in everything he sings. And this is a perfect example of if most other singers would have sung this song, it probably would have been okay. But he's bringing out, like, we're done with this. We're burning it to the ground. We've had it. We're frustrated. We don't want this anymore. Like that real fight back. And I think that makes this so much more of a powerful song than it would have with pretty much anybody else singing it. I love that the guitar is playing ahead of time the line that the backing vocalists are going to sing. It's a nice precursor to what you're going to hear, and it ties in together really well. And then I like that they drop down in pitch to do the second part. I think that really, even that simple change adds so much to the song for me. And again, it's those little things that make the biggest difference. I don't know how many times I've said that on the show. I apologize if you're getting sick of hearing me say it, but it is so true, especially when it comes to music. A lot of times the subtleties are everything. So up to this point, it's been fairly repetitive, but not in a way that I don't say that as a negative. I honestly have enjoyed it. It's not lost me by any means. A lot of times when songs repeat too much, I just kind of get like, okay, and that was a very common thing in the 80s, as I probably mentioned on other shows, where it was like, hey, we got a great chorus. It's got a great hook in it. Let's just keep playing it 20 or so times until the song fades out. Very common for this era. I don't really pay that much attention to commercial music now, so I don't know. I should say mainstream, not commercial. That's probably not a fair word. Mainstream would be better. I don't know how it's done now, if they're doing more endings, if they're letting it fade out, if they're, what they're doing. I have no clue. But I can tell you what was going on in the 80s because I was paying attention back then, and there was a lot of that kind of stuff. So, but when I say it's been repeating, I don't mean that, like I said, as a slight of any kind. I've really enjoyed it. It hasn't got to the point yet where it's been like, all right, guys, do something else. But the cool thing is they're about to do something else.
There's gonna be a party tonight.
I don't think that's quite the same brassy synth that we've heard before. Maybe he's playing it along with something else to modify the sound a little bit. But in any case, it sounds good. It's not too over the top. It's not ear piercing. It really felt more like, the end of a montage in a Rocky movie where they're playing the music. It's getting a little better and trying to pump you up. And then the last pass is like, we've made it. We've accomplished what we wanted to do. And it has that feeling of triumph in it. And I kind of feel like that with that piece too. It's interesting because it really kind of changes the tempo of the song, even though it doesn't. It feels like it slowed down a bit, but it's got a lot of power to it. Even just those, interesting changes in notes going from one to another. That combination is quite unique as far as I know, but it's really cool. I love the sound of it. Now, those chords that Mick was playing in the background were a little bit louder this time. So if you couldn't hear them before, maybe you were able to hear them now. Love those. They're just so good. They're so precise, too, in the bending. I mean, it's very rhythmic. It's not done haphazardly at all. It feels very comfortable and in line with the tempo, but very creative. I love the sound of that, and it's just flawless. Yeah, I love those keyboards and they were coming more to the foreground a little bit in that last part. Really love that. I don't know if that was like an arpeggiator or not, but it sounded really good. It very classic 80s thing, just to have that kind of thing going on with a keyboard in the background. But I love it. Really added nicely to the song, I thought, without distracting from it. Well, I don't know what all that was about. We may find out about that in the next episode. That might be the lead into the next song. But I liked that the volume was, the songs fading out. They didn't fade that out. I liked that it was, really upfront all of a sudden. That just gave it a really surreal feel to it. But in any case, I really liked that. The ending was great. I really wish that they'd have gone on longer because it sounded like things were really getting interesting there. Mick was playing a little bit more in the solo area. So I would have liked to have heard that. It's a good song, though, really solid. Probably could have been cut down a little bit, I think, because it was a little repetitive. But like I said, not to the point where I was annoyed or sick of it. If I were listening to the album, like let's say on repeat, and I listened to the album a couple times, I'd probably be like, all right, let's skip that one this time because of that. But for me, I mean, just upon this one hearing, I think it sounded great. I do feel like the fade was just like all of a sudden going, and it really felt either it was just quicker than it should have been, or it just felt out of place somehow. Maybe the timing of it. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but yeah, definitely there was something a little bit, I don't want to say off-putting, but it was enough to grab my attention away from the song. So maybe that is the right word. But in any case, great song. Really great work from everybody, especially Mick. He's filling in so many things there. I just love it. It's like when you just see, a wall and there's all these little cracks in it and you go like, you know what, I'm just going to paint something interesting in here. Just a little line of interesting. And he does it. He's doing all kinds of things in this song. They do get somewhat buried by the mix, but mostly I think you can hear them. It's just that they're a little quiet. Especially in compared to the energy and all the other things that are fighting for attention, like lead vocals, backing vocals, all at the same time. But it's a good song. I hope you guys liked it. I guess we'll find out if the end means the beginning of another song in the next episode. But in the meantime, have a great day, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. If you have enjoyed this show, please consider going over to Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast outlet, leaving a rating or a review. Be sure to subscribe to make sure that you are notified when new episodes are available. Please be sure to share this podcast with your fellow Uriah Heep enthusiasts and anyone who you think would like Uriah Heep, which should be everyone. And if you are so inclined, please feel free to contribute to the Patreon account. And if you are not a Patreon subscriber, you can also pay through the PayPal link on the website listed in the show links below. I would also like to thank Uriah Heep for their very generous support of the show, and thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Happy days!